I was actually originally born not too far from here. My parents live in this area. The sailing and being on the water, I got from my parents. My dad taught me how to sail and swim and, be on the water from a really young age. And the building aspect came a little bit later. I was in Panama, in Bocas del Toro, Panama, and I, watched some guys building a cayuco, which is a motorized log canoe that they use like a truck, essentially. I mean, they use it to transport people, but also goods from island to island around the archipelago. And at that point, I immediately was just enamored with kind of how simple you could bring the craft, like really boiling it down as far as you could. It was a good friend of mine that I went to boat school with, Michael Gorman, who came down here and kind of set roots, and I would come visit and joke with him that he worked at Fantasy Camp, and I was just shocked that anybody could get paid to do what they were doing here. So that was kind of my first introduction. Having a relationship with Michael Gorman and knowing that they were doing stuff like that here kind of sucked me in. My first 10 to 15 years in the industry, you go to work to build boats, and there is some artistry involved. I show up and it's like, it's a form of meditation. It's amazingly rewarding, especially, after spending, for those of us who've spent a lot of time in commercial yards where you're kind of just in a dark corner with a respirator on, working day in and day out with very little acknowledgement or anything, to work in this environment where people come through and they not only appreciate what you're doing, but they're, rooting you on while you're doing it. So to have that constant invigoration of energy and people seeing the synergy of 10 people all focused and working on one thing, they get absorbed into that. And so just to be a part of it, even just to walk into it, come out of a meeting and just witness it and not even necessarily be in that little ball of energy is like, it's awesome. I would love it if everybody got to experience just some small, like, clever piece of engineering, whether, you know what I mean? I think that there's so many different pieces of this place, and there's so many exhibits that we have, but I would just hope that, whether it's a kid on a field trip or, somebody who lives around here, that when they show up, they'd see either one of the shipwrights involved in doing something that they had, never experienced before, or they, saw something that we do every day, but they had never experienced before. Yeah, as far as sharing that with the guests, it's amazing, and I think trying to share that with as many people as we can is definitely part of the mission here, and I think that's why we don't rope it off. We invite people to come and ask questions and get involved.